Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about past tense in Finnish. Imperfekti. Imperfekti in Finnish is the past tense. It's how we talk about things that already happened. That is, it's used when we describe actions that took place in the past. It's one of the most useful tenses in Finnish. It can be a bit tricky because different verb types follow different patterns. Don't worry, we will make it simple today. Let's get started. Let's focus on verb type 1. Verb type 1 has several groups. We will look at each group separately. Here we have first group. These are the verbs that have infinitive that ends in ua, yö, oa, yö. For example, sanoa, puhua, kysyä, seiloa, nukkua. Imperfekti's marker is I. Let's take puhua verb. Puhua means to speak. Here we take the stem puhu and to this we add imperfekti's I. So what we get is puhui. This is the new stem and to this we add the personal ending further. Let's take another example. Kysyä. Here, kysy is the vartalo. To this, we add imperfekti's I and what we get is kysyi. Similarly, nukkua means to sleep. Nukku is the stem, vartalo, and to this we add imperfekti's I. What we get is nukui. In this slide, you see both the present tense and the imperfect forms of the verb seisoa for all personal pronouns. Seisoa means to stand. Minä seisoin, sinä seisoit, hän seisoi, me seisoimme, te seisoitte, he seisoivat. Similarly, we have nukkua means to sleep. Past tense forms for all the personal pronouns are minä nukuin, sinä nukuit, hän nukui, me nukuimme, te nukuitte, he nukkuivat. Here there are two more examples with the verb sanoa, to say, and kysyä, to ask. Sano is the vartalo. To this we add imperfekti's I and to this we add the personal ending. Sano plus I plus personal ending. N. Sanoin. You can note all these forms in your notebook and refer it later. Now let's jump over to another group of verb type 1. These are the verbs that end in ea, ea, or a in their basic form. For example, säästää, laskea, käyttää, itkeä, päättää. Säästää, to save, laskea, to calculate, käyttää, to use, itkeä, to cry, päättää, to decide. Now let's see how to make the past tense for this kind of group of verb type 1. Firstly, we remove the E or A from the end of the stem and to this we add imperfekti's I. So for säästää, A goes away and to this we append E. So what we get is sasti. Similarly, itke is the vartalo. We remove E and to this we add I. So what we get is itki. Next is pata. From this stem we remove a and we add imperfectis I. So what we get is patti. We get a single T here due to the consonant gradation. Here comes another table structure for this group. Mina sastin, Sina sastit, Han sasti, Me sastimme, Te sastitte, He sastivat. Similarly, we have itkea means to cry, Mina itkin, Sina itkit, Han itki, Me itkimme, Te itkitte, He itkivat. Now this is another group that has the basic form which ends in ia or ia. The present and the past tense looks identical in most of the forms. Tansia, vilkia, etsia, leikia. Tansia to dance, vilkia to blink, etsia to search, leikia to play. That refers to children's playing. As I said earlier, there is no much difference in the present tense and the past tense for this group. Because for this, you remove I from the end of the stem and then you add imperfectis I back again. So it remains the same. Tansi is the vartalo. From this, we remove I and to this we add imperfectis I. What we get is the same, tansi. Next is etsi. We remove I. To this we add I, etsi. Similarly, we have leikki. Quite simple. Here we have verb conjugation for all personal pronouns. So in case of imperfecti, Mina tansin, Sina tansit, Han tansi, Me tansimme, Te tansitte, He tansivat. Etsia, imperfecti becomes Mina etsin, Sina etsit, Han etsi, Me etsimme, Te etsitte, He etsivat. Now we have fourth group. These are the verbs that have the pattern a. These are the verbs that have two syllables and they have a both in the first and the last syllable. For example, maksa. Here a is in the first syllable, mak, and a is in the second syllable, sa. Maksa. Laula, auta, anta, aya. Maksa to pay, laula to sing, auta to help, anta to give, aya to drive. Now to make the imperfecti for this kind of group, we take the stem, for example, maksa. And do you notice a in the second syllable? We just remove that and to the stem we add oi. So what we get is maksoi. Then we have laula. We remove a and we add oi. What we get is lauloi. Then we have auta. We remove a from the end of the stem and to this we add oi. So what we get is autoi. Notice we have a single T here. That is due to the consonant gradation. Here we have the table structure representing both the present and the past tense of this kind of verbs that belong to this a group. Maksa means to pay. Mina maksoin. Sina maksoit. Han maksoi. Me maksoimme. Te maksoitte. He maksoivat. We have another verb, laula, means to sing. Mina lauloin. Sina lauloit. Han lauloi. Me lauloimme. Te lauloitte. He lauloivat. Now let's see other verbs ending in a. These are the verbs that don't have a in their first syllable, and these are the verbs that can have more than 2 syllables. For example, osta, rakasta, opetta, muista, odotta, soitta. Osta means to buy. Here it has 2 syllables, but the first syllable does not contain a. Rakasta means to love. It has more than 2 syllables and it ends with a. Opetta to teach. Muista to remember. Odotta to wait. Soitta to call. Now let's see how to make the past tense for this kind of group. We take the stem, osta, and we remove a from the end of the stem. And to this, we add imperfectis e or I. What we get is osti. Similarly, we have rakasta. We remove a from the end of the stem, and to this we add imperfectis I. What we get is rakasti. Opetta, we remove a, and what we get is opetti. Now here comes the table structure for this kind of group. Osta means to buy. Mina ostin. Sina ostit. Han osti. Me ostimme. Te ostitte. He ostivat. Muista to remember. Mina muistin. Sina muistit. Han muisti. Me muistimme. Te muistitte. He muistivat. Here comes another group of verb type 1. These are the verbs that end with lte aa, lte aa, arte aa, arte aa, ente aa, or vowel, vowel, te aa. For example, lenta, kieltä, piirtä, ymmärtää, tietää, rakentaa. Now, to make past tense for this kind of group verbs, we take the stem, pirra. From the end of the stem, we remove ra, and to this we add imperfectis, another ending, si. So what we get is pirsi. Similarly, we have rakenna. We remove na from the end of the stem, and to this we add si. What we get is rakensi. Ymmärrä. We remove again ra from the end of the stem. We add si. What we get is ymmärsi. Here comes the table structure for this kind of group. Lenta means to fly. Mina lensin, sina lensit, hän lensi, me lensimme, te lensitte, he lensivat. Similarly, we have ymmärtää means to understand, minä ymmärsin, sinä ymmärsit, hän ymmärsi, me ymmärsimme, te ymmärsitte, he ymmärsivät. Here are more examples. Tietää means to know. It has two vowels at the beginning, I, E, and ends with te, a. Tietää means to know. Minä tiesin, I knew. Sinä tiesit, you knew. Hän tiesi, me tiesimme. Te tiesitte, he tiesivät. Piirtää means to draw. Minä piirsin, I drew. Sinä piirsit, hän piirsi, me piirsimme, te piirsitte, he piirsivät. Here comes verb type 2. It has mainly 3 groups. We will look at it one by one. Here comes the first group. These are the verbs that end in da or da. They have 2 syllables, and in the first syllable they can have a long vowel. For example, myydä, saada, jada. Myydä means to sell, saada to get, jada to stay. So in here we will look how to make imperfekti out of this group. For this, we remove one of the long vowels when you add imperfekti's I. Let's consider this example. Myydä. Mu is the stem. We remove the vowel and to that we add imperfekti's I. So what we get is mui. Similarly, we have sa. We remove the last vowel and to that we add imperfekti's I. So what we get is sai. Yada. Ya is the stem. We remove a, which is the last vowel, and to that we add imperfekti's I. So what we get is yai. Here is the table structure representing both the present tense and the past tense for this kind of verbs. Minä myin, sinä myit, hän myi, me myimme, te myitte, he myivät. We have another verb, saada means to receive. Minä sain, sinä sait, hän sai, me saimme, te saitte, he saivat. Let's see another group of verb type 2. These verbs also end in da or da, but they have a diphthong in the first syllable. What is a diphthong? A diphthong is a combination of 2 vowels that are pronounced as one continuous sound. They form one syllable. For example, juoda. Juo is the diphthong. Viedä, tuoda, syödä, löydä. Juoda to drink, viedä to carry, tuoda to bring, syödä to eat, löydä to find. Now let's see how to make the past tense for this kind of group of verb type 2. For this kind of verbs, we have a diphthong. So we should remove the first vowel of the first syllable. Juoda, yo is the stem. We remove the first vowel, u, and we append imperfekti's I at the end of the stem. So what we get is yoi. Similarly, sa is the stem. We remove first vowel a and we append I at the end of the stem. So what we get is sai. Ya, we remove a and we append I. What we get is yai. This might sound confusing at the beginning, but you will get a hand over it once you practice. Here comes the table structure again. Syöda, to eat. Mina, soin. Sina, soit. Han, soi. Me, soimme. Te, soitte. He, soivat. It means I ate, you ate, he or she ate, we ate, and so on. Juoda means to drink. Mina, join. Sina, joit. Han, joi. Me, joimme. Te, joitte. He, joivat. Here is another example. Vieda means to take something or to carry something. Mina, vein. Sina, veit. Han, vei. Me, veimme. Te, veitte. He, veivat. Tuoda is another example, means to bring. Mina, toin. Sina, toit. Han, toi. Me, toimme. Te, toitte. He, toivat. Now, this is the last group that belongs to verb type 2. These verbs ends in ida or ida. For example, voida, uida, tupakoida, pysäkoida. Voida means to be able to. Uida means to swim. Tupakoida, smoke. Pysäkoida, to park. This is very simple because the present tense and the past tense look same here. These verbs are the easiest because their present and the past tense conjugations look identical. Voida, voi is the stem. We remove I from the end of the stem and to this we append imperfectis I. So what remains is the same, voi. Ui, ui. Tupakoi, tupakoi. Okay, I forgot to tell you that we have also exceptional verbs in verb type 2 and those are irregular verbs, means its stem or the endings change in an unexpected way. For example, nahada, to see, kauda, to use, teheda, to do. And this is how we make the past tense for this kind of irregular verbs. Nahada, to see. Mina, nine. Sina, night. Han, naki. Me, naimme. Te, naitte. He, nakivat. Teheda, to do. Mina, tein. Sina, teit. Han, teki. Me, teimme. Te, teitte. He, tekivat. Käydä, to visit. Mina kävin. Sina kävit. Hän kävi. Me kävimme. Te kävitte. He kävivät. Now let's jump over to verb type 3. They are very easy. They don't have any groups like previous ones. They have all in common that there will be an E at the end of the stem. We have verbs like nousta, opiskella, purra, mennä. Nousta means to get up or to rise. Opiskella, to study. Purra means to bite. Mennä means to go. And this is how we make the past tense. Nouse is the vartalo. We remove E from the end of the stem and we append imperfectis I, what we get is nousi. Menna, mene is the vartalo. We remove E from the end of the stem and we append imperfectis I. So what we get is many. Opiskele, we remove E and append I. We get opiskeli. Let's look at this table structure. Opiskella, to study. Minä opiskelin, I studied. Sinä opiskelit, you studied. Hän opiskeli, me opiskelimme. Te opiskelitte, he opiskelivat. Mennä means to go. Minä menin, sinä menit. Hän meni, me menimme. Te menitte, he menivät. Next comes verb type 4. All verb type 4 verbs will get C in the imperfecti. Let's look at this kind of verbs. Tavata, haluta, pelata, osata. Tavata, to meet. Pelata, to play. Haluta, to want. Osata, to know how. Now the past tense. Halua is the stem. We remove A from the end of the stem and we append C. So what we get is halusi. Osa is the stem. We remove A from the end of the stem and we append C. Osasi. Pela, we remove A and to that we append C. So what we get is pelasi. Let's look at the structure. Tavata, to meet. Mina tapasin, I met. Sina tapasit, you met. Hän tapasi, me tapasimme. Te tapasitte, he tapasivat. Haluta, to want. Mina halusin, sina halusit. Hän halusi, me halusimme. Te halusitte, he halusivat. Now let's look at verb type 5. They are much like verb type 3 in the sense that they both have E at the end of their stem. Häiritä, tarvita, valita, mainita. Häiritä, to disturb. Valita, to choose. Tarvita, to need. Mainita is to mention. Let's try to make the past tense for this kind of verbs. Häiritä, häiritse is the stem. We remove E from the end of the stem and to this we add imperfectis I. So what we get is häiritsi. Tarvitse, we remove E from the end and to that we append I. So what we get is tarvitsi. Valitse, we remove E and append I. What we get is valitsi. Now let's have a look at the table structure that represents both the present and the imperfect tense. Mina häiritsin, sina häiritsit, hän häiritsi, me häiritsimme, te häiritsitte, he häiritsivat. Tarvita means to need. Minä tarvitsin, sinä tarvitsit, hän tarvitsi, me tarvitsimme, te tarvitsitte, he tarvitsivat. Minä tarvitsin means I needed. Minä häiritsin means I disturbed. Now let's focus on verb type 6. This is the last verb type and they are similar like verb type 3 and 5 because they have E at the end of their stem. This type of verbs include vanheita, to get old, Viileta to get cold, pimeta to become dark, kuumeta to become hot. First comes vanhene. We remove e from the end of the stem and to that we append imperfecti's I. So what we get is vanheni. Kuumene, e removed and I appended, we get kuumeni. Viilene, e is removed and to that we append I. Viileni. Now let's have a look at the table structure. Vanheta to get older, Mina vanhenin, Sina vanhenit, Han vanheni, Me vanhenimme, Te vanhenitte, He vanhenivat. Viileta to get cool, Mina viilenin, Sina viilenit, Han viileni, Me viilenimme, Te viilenitte, He viilenivat. That's all for today. If this has helped you out, please hit the like button and subscribe.